Have you ever noticed how the heaviest weight we carry is entirely invisible? What if the true source of your emotional exhaustion is not what you have done in your life, but all the conversations you have endlessly postponed? Most people do not realize that silence is not always peaceful. Sometimes, silence is a locked door that we build from the inside. If you have ever felt weighed down by unsaid words, if you have watched the years pass and wondered if it is too late to speak your truth, this is for you. Stay until the end, because the final lesson may change the way you see age, time, and this hidden pain forever. We all carry a silent inventory of postponed conversations. Perhaps it is an apology you meant to give to an old friend, a quiet boundary you never set with a family member, or a simple admission of love that you swallowed out of fear. At first, the delay feels like a choice. We tell ourselves we are just waiting for the right moment. But as the months turn into years, the distance grows. You look in the mirror, you see the subtle signs of aging, and suddenly, panic sets in. You begin to see time not as a gentle progression, but as a closing door. You feel anxious. You feel like you are running out of time to fix what feels broken, to say what feels heavy. Buddhist wisdom offers a profound shift in how we understand this suffering. In Buddhist thought, the root of our pain is clinging. Often, we think of clinging as holding on to people, possessions, or past memories. But one of the deepest and most painful forms of attachment is holding on to an illusion of the future. We write a script in our mind of how a conversation must go. We demand that the conditions be perfect. We attach ourselves to the idea that if we just wait a little longer, the other person will understand us completely, or we will suddenly feel no fear. We cling to a moment that does not exist, while entirely abandoning the reality of the present. Imagine a river flowing steadily toward the vast ocean. If you stand by the bank holding a fragile dry leaf in your hand, waiting for the water to be perfectly still before you let it go, you will stand there forever. A river is never completely still. That is its nature. By holding so tightly to the leaf, you are not protecting it. You are simply removing yourself from the flow of life. The unsaid words in your heart are the leaves in your hand. The tighter you hold them, waiting for a perfection that will never arrive, the more they dry out and crumble into resentment. Think about your own life. Think about the person whose memory makes your chest tighten. You carry their ghost with you, replaying a conversation that never happened, exhausting yourself with a dialogue that exists nowhere but in your own mind. You feel the pressure of time, believing that because you are older now, the deadline for this conversation has passed. You punish yourself for your silence. Ask yourself, what conversation are you endlessly delaying? What are you afraid will happen if you finally release the leaf into the water? Pause, breathe. Observe this fear without following it. You do not need to figure it all out today. For now, just recognize the weight of what you are holding. Stop trying to force the river to stop moving. Let the feeling of regret rise without making it your identity. Because the pain you feel is not just about the other person. It is about the space and the peace you are denying yourself. We falsely believe that speaking our truth requires a guarantee of how it will be received. But letting go of the perfect outcome is the only way to find your voice. And this is where the next truth begins. 2. The illusion of the perfect time. What if the perfect moment you are waiting for is actually a trap? A quiet cage, designed to keep you exactly where you are? Here is a truth few people want to face. The right time does not exist. It is a myth we invent to protect ourselves from vulnerability. We convince ourselves that waiting is the responsible, mature choice. We tell ourselves, I will reach out and apologize when my own life is more stable, or I will finally set this boundary when they are in a better mood. We wait for the holidays to pass. We wait for work stress to fade. We wait for the courage to magically appear on a quiet Sunday morning. We delay speaking our needs because the timing feels clumsy or inconvenient. And so, the unspoken words sit heavy in our chests. We believe we are carefully managing the situation, keeping the peace. But in reality, we are just managing our own anxiety through avoidance. We are letting the distance grow, hoping time will do the hard work that only our voice can do. Buddhist wisdom teaches us the profound reality of impermanence. Everything is in constant motion. The world shifts, circumstances change, and people evolve or slip away. Nothing remains still. When we stubbornly wait for the perfect time, we are acting under the delusion that time belongs to us. We assume we have an endless supply of tomorrows to fix the misunderstandings of today. Buddhism reminds us that the only moment we truly possess, the only place where action is possible, is right now. To delay our truth for a future that is not promised is to reject the reality of the present moment. Imagine a traveler standing at the edge of a vast, dark forest, holding a small lantern. They refuse to step onto the path until the wind stops blowing entirely, terrified that a sudden breeze might blow out their flame. But the forest is always breathing. The wind is a natural part of the world. By waiting for absolute, undisturbed stillness, the traveler remains frozen at the edge of the journey. And slowly, while they wait, the lantern burns down its oil, casting its beautiful light on nothing but the stagnant ground beneath their feet. How often do you do this in your everyday life? You sit staring at a drafted message on your phone, reading it over and over, waiting for the perfect alignment of emotions before you press send. You sit across from someone you love, feeling the heavy ache of a distance you both know is there, but you swallow your words because you do not want to start a deep conversation on a busy weeknight. You trade your deep, authentic voice for a temporary, fragile quiet. Ask yourself, are you truly waiting for a better time, or are you just waiting for the fear to finally go away? What if the fear never leaves? Pause, breathe, acknowledge the uncomfortable truth. There is no perfect alignment of the stars coming to save you from the discomfort of speaking. Let the illusion of the perfect moment go. Step into the reality of right now, even if it feels messy. You do not have to wait for the wind to stop to take the first step. You only need to protect your lantern and walk, because beneath this endless waiting, beneath the comforting excuse of bad timing, lies a quiet resistance we rarely want to name. And this is where the next truth begins. 3. Why fear dresses up as patience. What if the virtue you are most proud of is actually the very thing holding you back? Here is a truth that is deeply uncomfortable to admit. Often, we confuse patience with paralysis. We tell ourselves we are being noble. We convince ourselves we are being the bigger person by staying quiet. We give a difficult family dynamic time to settle. We wait months or years for someone to notice they hurt us, silently hoping they will bring it up first. We wear our silence like a badge of honor, believing that our endurance is a sign of strength. But underneath that quiet waiting, we are not being patient. We are terrified. We are terrified of the conflict. We are terrified of being misunderstood, rejected, or completely ignored if we finally speak up. We use patience as a shield to protect ourselves from the sharp edges of vulnerability. In Buddhist wisdom, true patience is an active state of calm acceptance, not a passive state of avoidance. True patience is deeply rooted in the present moment, observing reality exactly as it is without running away. When we use the idea of patience as an excuse to avoid a necessary conversation, we are engaging in aversion. We are pushing away the discomfort of the truth. One of the deepest lessons of Buddhism is the practice of looking honestly at our own intentions. Are you waiting because the situation genuinely requires time, or are you hiding because you are afraid of the friction? Imagine a small seed planted deep in the dark earth. True patience is watering the soil and trusting the sun, knowing the roots are growing even when they remain unseen. But fear dressed as patience is completely different. It is standing over the dry, barren dirt, refusing to offer a single drop of water and whispering, "I am just giving it time. You can wait a lifetime." But without the courageous act of nourishment, without breaking the surface, the seed will never grow. It will only wither in the darkness. Think about how this shows up in your everyday life. You endure a relationship that drains you, telling yourself you are just being tolerant. You avoid setting a boundary with an aging parent, convincing yourself it is out of respect. You let weeks pass after a harsh misunderstanding, hoping the tension will naturally evaporate on its own. But the tension does not dissolve. It sinks into the soil of your mind. It hardens into resentment. You are not waiting for a resolution. You are hiding from the vulnerability of saying, "I am hurt," or "I need things to change." Ask yourself, where in your life are you calling your fear patience? Who are you quietly avoiding under the disguise of giving them space? Pause. Breathe. Look honestly at the silent spaces in your life. Stop calling your avoidance a virtue. You do not have to force a confrontation today, but you must stop lying to yourself about why you are standing still. Acknowledge the fear. Let it be there without letting it dictate your silence. Because honesty, even when your voice trembles, is far more peaceful than a lifetime of false waiting. But as the years pass, this waiting takes on a heavy, new kind of weight. We look at our age, and we falsely mistake the passing of time for an ending. And this is where the next truth begins. 4. Aging as a deepening, not a deadline. What if getting older is not a closing door, but a quieting of the noise? Here is a truth we rarely allow ourselves to believe. Age does not expire your right to speak. It only clarifies what is truly worth saying. As the years pass, it is easy to look at the calendar and feel a sudden, quiet panic. We see the grey hair, we feel the shifting seasons of our lives, and we begin to believe that we are simply running out of time. We look back at all the unresolved misunderstandings, the silent distances between ourselves and our loved ones, and we tell ourselves it is simply too late. We think, the damage is done, or I missed my chance to fix this. We treat aging as a strict deadline, a looming expiration date on our ability to heal, connect, or change. Because of this, we either rush frantically to force conversations, or we surrender completely to the silence, believing our older selves are no longer allowed to ask for what we need. Buddhist wisdom offers a profoundly gentle alternative to this modern panic. In Buddhist thought, the passage of time is not a tragedy. It is the natural reality of impermanence. But more importantly, the spiritual journey is never viewed as a race against a clock. Buddhism teaches us to see aging not as a loss of youth, but as an accumulation of presence. When we view age as a deadline, we cling desperately to the past and live in fear of the future. But aging, in its purest, most mindful form, is a deepening. It is the slow, beautiful shedding of superficial attachments. You are not running out of time to be yourself. You are finally arriving at the truth of who you are. Imagine a towering oak tree standing in a quiet forest as autumn arrives. A young sapling might thrash violently in the wind, resisting the cold, desperate to hold onto every single green leaf. But the ancient tree stands perfectly still. It lets the dried leaves fall without a fight. It knows that its true strength does not live in the fragile leaves on its branches, but in the massive, invisible roots that have grown deep into the earth over decades. The falling of the leaves is not a deadline. It is a deepening. It is a necessary clearing to reveal the strong, unshakable core beneath. Think about the unresolved chapters of your own life. You might look at a postponed conversation from 10 years ago and feel foolish for even thinking about it now. You tell ourselves, we are both too old for this. You feel the heavy pressure of the years, believing you missed your only window to be brave. But what if your younger self simply did not have the roots to hold that heavy conversation? What if the years you spent waiting were not wasted, but were silently deepening your capacity for compassion, understanding, and truth? Ask yourself, are you using your age as a convenient excuse to stay quiet? What if this season of your life is actually the safest time to finally speak, because you no longer have the energy to pretend, pause, breathe? Release the timeline you have created in your head. Stop measuring your life against an invisible clock. You are not too late. The quiet wisdom you carry in your heart right now is exactly what is needed for the words you are finally meant to say. But to speak those words freely, we must let go of a different kind of control. And this is where the next truth begins. 5. Speaking without attachment to the outcome. What if the hardest part of speaking your truth is not the courage it takes to find the words, but your desperate need for how they will be received? Here is a truth that is incredibly difficult to accept. You can only control what you say. You can never control what they hear. We often hold back our words for years because we demand a guarantee. We script the entire conversation in our minds, playing both parts perfectly. We want our apology to be met with immediate forgiveness. We want our deep hurt to be met with instant, profound understanding. We want our expression of love to be returned in equal measure. And when reality threatens to deviate from this perfect script, we panic. We choose the heavy silence over the unpredictable response. We stay quiet because we are terrified of a messy, ungraceful reaction. But in doing this, we are not just trying to share our feelings, we are subtly trying to control the other person. In Buddhist thought, this is the very definition of attachment, and it is a profound source of suffering. We suffer because we completely tie our inner peace to external validation. The spiritual practice of non-attachment does not mean that we do not care about the person or that we are entirely indifferent to the outcome. It simply means we recognize where our power ends. Buddhism teaches us to act with right intention, to speak with genuine compassion, clarity, and honesty, and then immediately release our grip on the result. When you speak without attachment, you are no longer asking the other person to heal you. You are simply stepping into your own light. Imagine you are holding a fragile bird in your hands. For years, you have kept your fingers tightly closed, afraid that if you open them, the bird might fly in the wrong direction, or perhaps refuse to fly at all. But as long as your hands are clenched, you are acting as a cage. Speaking your truth is the quiet act of opening your hands. You do not get to decide if the bird stays on your palm, or if it immediately soars into the vast sky. Your only job, your only true spiritual responsibility, is to open the cage and let the wind do the rest. Think about that long postponed conversation weighing on your chest. Imagine you finally sit down with an estranged friend or an aging parent. You offer the apology you have carried for a decade, or you tell them how much their absence wounded you. But what if they look at you with defensive eyes? What if they still disagree? What if they walk away? If your peace is anchored to their understanding, you will be crushed by their reaction. But if your peace is anchored to your own bravery, their response can no longer destroy you. Ask yourself, are you withholding your words because you are secretly demanding a specific reaction? What would happen if you spoke your heart, completely accepting that they might never fully understand you? Pause, breathe, do your part, then release the outcome. Let the words leave you without demanding anything in return. Speak to free your own heart, not to manipulate theirs. But even as we learn to let go of the outcome, there is another heavy reality we must face as the years pass. Because sometimes, despite our readiness to open our hands, the person we need to speak to is simply no longer there. And this is where the next truth begins. 6. Making peace with conversations that can no longer happen. What if the most agonizing silence of all is the one left behind by someone who is already gone? Here is a truth that breaks the hardest of hearts. Sometimes the physical time to speak does run out. We live our lives under the comforting illusion that there is always tomorrow. We assume there will be another holiday, another phone call, another casual afternoon to finally clear the air. But then a sudden departure, a quiet passing, or the slow fading of a mind takes someone away, and the door closes forever. We are left standing with a heavy, painful handful of unsaid words. We carry the apologies we were too stubborn to give. We hold on to the love we assumed they already knew. When a conversation can no longer happen, the grief is often compounded by a profound, suffocating guilt. We replay our past decisions, punishing ourselves for the times we walked away instead of staying. We feel trapped in a one-sided dialogue with a ghost, believing that because the person is gone, our chance for peace is gone with them. Buddhist wisdom offers a deeply compassionate path through this specific sorrow. In Buddhist thought, the reality of impermanence means that all physical forms must eventually dissolve. Nothing escapes change. But Buddhism also teaches that connection is not bound entirely by the physical body. The compassion, forgiveness, and intention you hold in your heart are profoundly real. When we suffer endlessly over unsaid words to the departed, we are clinging to the past, a realm that no longer exists. True peace comes when we realize that our forgiveness does not require a physical receiver to be valid. You can still let go of the burden. You can still offer the words. Imagine standing by the edge of a vast, quiet lake at midnight. The person you wanted to speak to is somewhere across the water, but a thick fog has rolled in, and they have vanished into the mist. You cannot see them. They cannot hear you shout. If you collapse on the shore in anger, you will only suffer in the cold. But if you gently light a small candle, place it on a fragile boat of leaves, and push it out onto the dark water, the light still travels. The lake carries it. The gentle act of releasing the light is what begins to heal you, even if you never see exactly where it lands in the mist. Think about the person you lost before you were ready. You sit in the quiet of your room, or you stand where they used to stand, feeling the crushing weight of the words you swallowed when they were alive. You tell yourself it is entirely too late. You convince yourself that, because they cannot nod or smile or say, "I forgive you too," your words are utterly useless. But your unsaid words do not have to become your lifelong prison. Ask yourself, are you keeping your heart closed because the other person is no longer here to open it for you? What if the world is vast enough to hold the words they can no longer physically hear? Pause, breathe. Speak your truth to the empty room. You do not need their physical presence to release the weight. Say the words out loud. Let the quiet space receive them. Forgive yourself for not knowing then what you know so clearly now. Let the sorrow rise without making it your eternal identity. Because healing is not merely a transaction between two people. It is a quiet, profound clearing within your own soul. And once you finally make peace with the conversations that can no longer happen, it completely transforms how you treat the ones that still can. And this is where the next truth begins. 7. The quiet beauty of saying it now. What if the most courageous thing you can do today is to simply be ordinary, quiet, and profoundly honest? Here is a beautiful truth we often overlook. There is no magic in waiting. The only true magic exists in the quiet vulnerability of doing. We often believe that resolving a heavy, postponed conversation requires a grand stage. We think there must be a perfectly orchestrated event, an emotional climax, or an undeniable sign from the universe. We let the simplicity of the present moment slip away because we feel it is too mundane. We fear the awkwardness of calling someone on a random Thursday afternoon just to say, I was wrong, or I miss you. So we wait. We wait for a birthday, a holiday, or a moment of crisis to finally justify our words. But in our refusal to speak on an ordinary day, we strip the present moment of its power. We trade the messy, beautiful reality of right now for a dramatic fantasy that will never arrive. Buddhist wisdom teaches the profound sacredness of the present moment. In Buddhist thought, the past is merely a memory fading into shadow, and the future is an illusion that has not yet been drawn. The now is the only place where life actually happens, the only place where we can breathe, act, or connect. Mindfulness is not just sitting silently in a room, it is stepping fully into the present with your actions and your voice. When we speak our truth in an ordinary moment, without waiting for the perfect backdrop, we honor life exactly as it is. We practice acceptance. We stop fighting time and start living inside of it. Imagine a heavy wooden door in a house you have lived in for many years. You have kept it tightly locked because you assumed the room behind it was dark, dusty, and full of heavy ghosts. You tell yourself that you will open it eventually, but only on a day when you feel absolutely brave and the sun is shining perfectly through the windows. But what if you simply walked up to it on a quiet grey Tuesday and turned the key? When you pushed the door open, you realized there were no ghosts. There was only stale air waiting to be moved. The quiet beauty of the moment is not the weather outside, but the sudden rush of fresh air, breathing life back into the forgotten room. Think about your own life. Think about how simple it could actually be. Sending a short message that says, "I was thinking about you, and I am sorry for the distance between us." Calling an aging parent just to say, "Thank you for trying your best," without needing a long, tearful explanation. It does not have to be an exhausting negotiation of the past. It just has to be real. It might feel awkward or unpolished, but that awkwardness is the fresh air moving through the stale room of your relationships. Ask yourself, what would happen if you stopped waiting for a grand occasion and just spoke your truth on an ordinary day? Is keeping the door locked truly protecting you, or is it just keeping you trapped in the hallway? Pause. Breathe. Stop trying to make the moment perfect. You do not need an excuse to be honest. Take the pressure off yourself and the other person. Let the quiet beauty of a simple, present action replace the heavy burden of years of overthinking. Because when you stop waiting, you realize that life has been gently waiting for you all along. And this is where the final truth begins. 8. Life meets you where you are. What if the greatest relief of your life is realizing that you never had to carry it all perfectly? We began this journey looking at the heavy, invisible weight of all the conversations you have endlessly postponed. We looked at the quiet fear of time, the sudden panic that comes with getting older, and the profound ways we build cages out of our own protective silence. For years, you may have believed that you were simply running out of time to fix what was broken, endlessly waiting for a perfect moment that was never going to arrive. But as we have seen, the perfect moment is an illusion. Your age is not a closing door or a harsh deadline, but a profound deepening of your spirit. The unsaid words in your heart do not need to become a lifelong prison. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that true peace is not found by flawlessly orchestrating the world around us. It is found by softly surrendering to the reality of the present moment. When we finally let go of our attachment to how a conversation must unfold, when we stop demanding that our words be met with instant validation or perfect understanding, we are suddenly free. We realize that the true weight we were carrying was not just the unsaid words themselves, but our desperate need to control the outcome. Imagine standing by that same river we spoke of earlier. You are no longer holding tightly onto the dry leaf, terrified of the current, waiting for the water to stop moving. You are no longer afraid of the wind blowing through the dark forest. You stand there with the deep, unshakable roots of the ancient tree, feeling the gentle passage of time, not as a looming threat, but as a quiet companion. You open your hands, you let the leaf touch the water, and you watch it float away, completely at peace with wherever the current will take it. You are simply there, breathing in the present moment, honoring the truth of your own voice. Think about your life today. You do not have to fix every broken relationship before the sun goes down. You do not have to rush frantically to perfectly tie up every loose end of your past. You only need to show up exactly as you are, right now, with whatever quiet wisdom the years have graciously granted you. If there is a conversation that needs to happen, let it happen in the messy, quiet beauty of an ordinary day. If there is a conversation that can no longer happen, gently release it into the vastness of the empty room, knowing your heart has already been heard. Ask yourself, can you finally forgive yourself for the time it took to get here? Can you look in the mirror, see the beautiful weathered deepening of your years, and realize that you have arrived at exactly the right time? Pause. Breathe. Let that sink in. You do not have to hold it all together tightly anymore. The pressure to speak perfectly, to time everything exactly right, to control how people remember you, you can lay all of it down on the earth. True peace is not the absence of unresolved things. True peace is the deep, quiet trust that you are completely okay, even when the story is imperfect. If these lessons touched your heart, share this video with someone who may need a little more peace today. Let life meet you where you are.